It's not very nice. You're too small, mate. It didn't take up the camera.
Hang on a minute. You make it small, Joe.
I'm a hobbit. I'm not small. It's not the same thing. Yes, beautiful people. How are we doing? I back passage at work. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm too mature to make it. And today I'm going to be showing you guys everything that I've done to build a half decent chest over the years. Maybe I'll throw something up on screen here. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Let's see if I remember. So into the video. Push day with a bit of calves, bit of biceps, because calf training's cool, bicep training's cool. Who doesn't want big biceps? And if I don't train my calves at the start of the session, I just won't do it. So let's go. Every single element within your entire training program is just taught. People get far too dogmatic about I should use length and partials or I shouldn't because they're actually going to kill my gains. When in reality, if it makes sense to use them on this calf raise here. If I go into that fully short position, I just get a shitload of pain in my ankles and then it takes away from my ability to actually train my calf. So if I use them here, it feels better. I progressed it and my calves might grow a bit. Win one. That is absolutely killer. Now, the two main things that I'm thinking about during that set there is keeping my scapula, my shoulder blades stable as I'm going through the rep. So I'm not using that scapular motion to almost cheat and get it out further. I'm keeping this fairly stable as I go through. And then I just want to make sure that the path of that cable is directly lining up with my arm. So it's pulling along this direction here. It's not trying to pull across when my arm's going that way. It's not trying to pull too much down because that's not going to feel particularly nice on everything else in your shoulder joint. And the goal here is to challenge the rear delts, not the fucking rotator cuffs. Usually I'd complain that this cuff was sort of sliding up my arm as I was going through the set. But in a lateral raise like this, is actually quite convenient because the closer it gets to that shoulder joint, effectively, the less leverage this has over me and the easier it feels. So by it naturally sliding up throughout the set, it's almost doing a sort of drop set type of thing, which makes it feel better for me. And who can complain about that? Boom! If you've got a shitty shoulder press, I guarantee that the issue you're making is that when you're pressing, you're letting your elbows drift backwards. And what that's doing is disadvantaging your body in reference to the machine. Okay, no matter how hard I try and press forward, it's not going forward. It doesn't go that way. So you want to keep your elbow directly underneath the machine if you actually want to grow your shoulders. You might notice that as I'm setting up here, I'm actually shifting my bum forward in the seat. I'm almost decreasing the incline of this bench because trying to sit right up here and press basically directly overhead is quite uncomfortable for me. So by leaning forward, I essentially turn this from a shoulder press into a pretty high incline, which makes it feel a little bit more comfortable. And as long as the floor's got enough sort of friction when you push back on it to keep you in place, that's all right. If you've got a hobbit wingspan like me and the bottom of your converging presses feel about as uncomfortable as having an erection in the playground, then one of the best things to do is wedge something between the arm of the machine and the actual surface of it. What this does is artificially sets that range of motion further forward so that I'm not being pulled outwards into a position that my joint can't actually get into, which is what makes it feel so damn shit at the bottom for hobbits like us. If you'd like more advice when it comes to building a chest, just ping in with the word PEX and I'll send you a free growth pack. Another thing that I've done to help me, another thing that I've done to help with this is actually move this back pad further forwards because then the machine's not starting out so wide for me. However, that does mean that it's really, really hard in that short position. So to almost mitigate that to a sense, I'm not fully locking out. I'm still challenging the pec in the next exercise in that short position. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, just get yourself some ropes, some D handles, or preferably some yoga blocks so you don't damage the gym equipment. Just sitting on an incline bench does not make it an upper chest exercise. We need to look at the anatomy of that muscle, okay? It's going to start from somewhere in here underneath the elbow and come up towards the clavicle. So we're looking at a path of motion that is something like this. It's going to vary a little bit, which means that we want to come across and up at that same time. If we just come up, you're going to be hitting your front delts and your biceps in that stupid supinated front raise that everybody seems to do. And if you just come across at a really high angle, you're going to be getting a lot of front delt in it. Most people have far too much of that, it is. So please look at your anatomy. Don't just sit on an incline bench. Look at what the resistance is trying to do and directly oppose that, like you'll see that my arm is pulling directly straight against the cable. As you will see, we have got the plate down here to stop this bench sliding around because I'm a big, strong boy and there's just far too much weight here for the bench to actually stay in place by itself. So I'm going to use something intelligently to help with that equipment rather than just going, oh no, it's not stable, I can't do the exercise with. Although I am going to have to like rugby tackle it now. This is the fun part. And watch how that cable moves directly in line with my arm. Wow. If you're trying to build some bulging biceps, but no matter what you try, they just don't seem to get any bigger, I'm willing to bet that you are missing the forest for the trees over there. You're looking for one specific exercise, which is going to be the secret. Whether that be, oh, I have to do a preacher curl because it gives me a load of sensation, or I have to do a lengthened biased curl because the stretch is really, really important. When it's like, actually, am I just taking off that joint position within my training? Am I doing something neutral? Am I doing something supinated? Am I doing something where my elbow gets in front of the body? Like this. If you're taking those things off, if your form stays the same as you progress over time, you will build decent arms. It's just a matter of time. Okay? My biceps have always been naturally all right, but my triceps aren't so good. But those exact same principles are going to work of training well, progressing that load over a long period of time, pain free. And if you're still looking for more tips to help you build some juicy arms, then DM me the word arms for a free guide. I'm a bodybuilder, so you know what that means. It means I have to pose after each and every session because if not, you don't even train. If it doesn't go on Instagram, the session does not count. Posing in the disabled toilets here because I was feeling pretty disabled after this session. Unfortunately, not because of the pump. At this point, training is not the best. I'm maintaining, maybe progressing one or two things if I'm lucky, and regressing a couple of movements here. Not getting a great pump, still getting a good mind muscle connection and that sort of thing because I actually don't train like a dickhead, which is all right. But this was the last round of posing before I had a refeed on the following day, which I was very, very happy about. And I'll be showing you guys all of that stuff in the next video here. But physique is coming along very, very nicely. Midsection is tightening up. Lower back is tightening up. And then the last bit of body fat I've got really is to come off a little bit off the hips, of the lower abs, and then mainly my legs. To be honest, that is my fattest body part, tends to hold the most body fat there, but we can see some detail coming in the abs and the legs there. And then we're going to finish up with a most muscular, crunching down on the abs. Is my favorite version of this at the moment, depending upon the lighting, but I do still quite like the pulled up version. And then 2 classic shots, a half lat spread, half bicep, whatever you call it, and then a twisted 3/4 double, which I still haven't perfected. And that is the full video for you people. Wow, I really need to shave. That is absolutely horrendous. And a haircut booked next week, so that is going to be lovely. But the reason why I've not really spoke that much about, I'm doing this differently when I'm dieting to when I'm growing, and why am I even filming this video in a deficit, sorry about the noisy hairdryer in the background, is because what you should do training wise when you're growing and when you're cutting is not that different. It's just I'm doing one less set. I'm maybe not taking those 50-50 reps that I would do when I'm eating 3,500 calories a day, when I'm eating 2,000 less than that. But aside from that, I'm still training with the same accuracy, the same intensity, same exercise selection overall. Maybe we shift those to be a little bit more stable towards the end of it. But you don't need to change anything drastic when you are cutting. That's like my honest 2 cents for all of this, okay? And if you are still struggling when it comes to building a certain muscle group, hopefully you've got some tips about building your overall pushing shit today, then just DM me the appropriate word and I will send you a free video growth guide on the topic. So give me the word PEX. I'll give you all the secrets that me and my clients use way above and beyond what I can fit into a YouTube video, all for free. You got nothing to lose. Well, except I'll have your email. I can send you more of my terrible jokes. But if you watch to this point of the video, you probably don't think they're that terrible. So like, share, subscribe, leave a hate comment down below because it boosts us up in the algorithm. Love you. Bye.